May 24th, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 154 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
All right, so this last week, the Supreme Court struck down 1992's Federal Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, which prohibited states other than Nevada from authorizing sports gambling. That was the big news. We haven't been back for a while. It's actually old news almost now.
Yeah,
so.
When I heard this, though, why did Nevada get an exemption from this?
Well, I think because they were already doing it. I think that's the only reason, is that they were already doing it at that point.
You couldn't just say, well, you can't do it anymore?
Well, they could have, but, lobbying and that's all sorts of stuff. But
it's such politics.
Uh-huh. That's exactly right, Mike. That's politics.
Yeah.
And
how are politics and bullshit related?
It's a synonym, Mike.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's it. I always get synonym and acronym confused.
You get them mixed up. No, they're synonyms. They're synonyms.
Okay,
right?
that's it.
So this
I'm
is...
going to use those two interchangeably from now on.
That's right. A bad roll at the crabs table. That's politics. Well, it opens the door for legal sports wagering throughout the country. Now, it's certainly coming to New Jersey. They were the ones that were really fighting for it.
Right.
And, Mike, I even heard something that said that you'll be able to bet on sports in some form this Monday, May 28th.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
That would be that soon.
In New Jersey?
In New Jersey, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in some capacity. So we'll see. And certainly they said by June, it's going to be full blown. I'm sure all the casinos there are
They
ready
probably
for it
already
and
got their
everything.
sports books lined up.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they were, getting them prepped. Yeah. Probably it's also soon coming to Delaware, Mississippi, New York, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. And also Connecticut and Iowa might not be far behind. Now, the other states, it'll probably take a little longer. Maybe within 5 years here in California, if we're lucky. You know how slow that kind of thing moves through, but maybe.
Don't start me on California either.
All right, no, let's not talk about
I got a synonym for that. I can't even say it on the show.
Well, let's move past that. And certainly won't come to states like Utah, Hawaii, that kind of thing. It's just not going to.
What about Arizona? What do you think about
Yeah,
Arizona?
I bet it probably would eventually.
Maybe quicker than California.
It's possible. I don't know enough about the
we're close enough to
legislature
Arizona. We can get to the border pretty quick.
Yeah, it's not too bad if you want to go over there. And, it'll depend on, is it just at casinos? Will you have an app that you can do it on? That's going to be a big part of it here. We actually got a phone call from someone.
I wanted to be in Arizona so my cousin who lives in Phoenix can just make bets for me.
Oh, there you go. You just do that.
Yeah, I can just send him money, right?
Yeah, that's true.
He'd be making them for himself.
Of course, if they had it here too, you'd be able to do it on your own.
Right. That would be much more convenient.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking it's never coming to California.
Because you're just a pessimist about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a pessimist about California, and I think the Nevada lobby would probably try and hold California back a little bit.
Yeah, I guess a little bit, although sports wagering is not a big source of income for the Nevada casinos.
No.
I think I heard recently it was like 2% or some low number like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, let's hear this phone call real quick.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. I'm sure that you guys are probably going to talk about this on the next episode, but it is May 14th, a day where the tyranny of government regulations has finally been lifted from the sports gambler. A day that I will always remember fondly, assuming that the government, while implementing sports gambling, doesn't screw it up. So my question to you guys is, how do you think it's going to play out? Do you think it's going to be as widespread as, say, a Keno or a state lottery is, and I can go up to my nearest gas station or supermarket and put in a bet and take the Cowboys -7 on a Sunday afternoon? Or do you think it's going to be solely in sports books? Obviously, with the way technology is, I wonder if state gambling boards or whatever will roll out an app and people will be able to use it that way. And then I guess my other question would be is, how do you think some states will do in terms of regulating who can and can't be a bookmaker? Because I think in order for them to get the state revenue that they really want, and the whole reason that this is lucrative for them, is that they're going to have to make it readily available and convenient for people to use, or else I know people like myself may continue to give their business to a local entrepreneur who might do some of their business under the table. So I'm just curious to think what you guys might think is going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years now that all this has happened. I hope you guys enjoyed your decision, and thanks again for all you do. Love the show. Take care.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like the lottery, like in Great Britain, where you can just go down to the tobacconist and make a wager. I don't think it's going to be like that.
No,
I think it's
I can't see that happening.
no. It'll be.
But it does, like he said, it has to be readily available.
I know, and that's why I'm thinking if they're smart, they'll make apps for them, like you can do in Nevada right now. You can bet
Right.
sports on your phone if you're in the state of Nevada,
Right.
And so I think that would become readily available. But certainly, the big players, the casinos, things like that,
Yeah.
they'll have the sports wagering, maybe racetracks.
But say you live in California in a smaller town
Mm-hmm.
out in the middle of nowhere, and the closest casino's like an hour and a half drive or 2 hour drive or
Yeah.
whatever. They have to make it available to those people too somehow.
Yeah.
So an app would be good.
Yeah.
How do they regulate those apps though?
Well, I
I mean,
don't.
how do they stop your 10-year-old son from grabbing your phone when
Well, I mean, that's always an issue, right? How do they prevent that in Nevada?
Right.
I mean, it's you as an adult, you kind of have to take responsibility. Obviously, yeah, if your kid gets a hold of your computer or your phone or
makes a
something like
$10,000 bet on the
Well,
Padres to win any game of the year.
that's rough.
That'd be rough.
That'd be rough for
That'd
you.
be rough.
Well, first of all, you'd have to have $10,000 in your account.
Really?
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's one
Well,
of the
I
things.
mean, some people
Oh,
will,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
Some
sure.
people will.
I mean, it's like anything else, but it's certainly not going to be your local bookie is not going to be able to sign up. And I signed up to be able to offer sports wagering. I've got a license now,
Right.
so that won't happen. It'll be interesting because hopefully the states won't mess it up. Hopefully the states won't tax it so much.
Are you listening to what
that
you're saying?
it will not be worth it to the consumer to go through that?
Have you heard
and
a word
then
you're
they
saying?
just stay with their bookie, because the bookie's giving them good odds. And there's talk about the leagues, the sports
Right.
leagues wanting a cut in it for integrity. Isn't that what they're calling it? Like an integrity fee?
tax. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And it's funny because Eric Rosenthal on Vegas Confessions, he was saying, this is not going to do away with bookies because bookies, number one, they work on credit,
Right.
which these other places won't. I mean, sure,
Right.
maybe credit cards or something like that, but that's how bookies
But no,
work.
bookies
And-
work on giving you a time.
yeah,
to
you
pay
call it
back.
right. And, bookies might offer a better line depending on what happens. So who knows? Hopefully, fingers crossed that the lines that everybody have access to are as good as the Nevada lines. I'm sure that's going to be the case in New Jersey. They've been ready for it.
Right.
But we'll see what these other
Yeah,
states
some
do.
other states might have a little different line,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot to be worked out with that.
Oh, yeah.
A lot to be worked
Absolutely,
out with that.
yeah.
And it sounds like a bunch of politics to me.
Yep, that's right.
Because, and you know what I mean.
Yep.
Because seriously, I mean, there are so many things to work out
Mm-hmm.
that it could be kind of confusing as far as people getting into trouble.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's like any kind of vice.
Right.
Right. Anytime you do that. But people are making illegal wagering now like crazy.
Right. I understand that. And those people are fine. I'm fine with those people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Seriously, because I mean, that's what they want to do. I'm more worried about the casual guy who's never thought about making a sports bet, right? Not a gambler. He's not like us going to the casino every week. And he's just a guy who says, no, but he happens to like the Chargers.
Okay.
And so he cites.
He's got a problem anyway.
Yeah, he's got a problem. Right. He's got a big problem right there. But he'd be sitting on his couch thinking, well, I really think they're going to win this game. I really think they're going to win this game.
And it would be very easy to do on an app. You're doing it legally.
Right. You're doing it legally. Or even if it was like at a 7-Eleven where you could just go in and make a wager. I mean, a guy like that could get himself in some trouble.
Sure. No, absolutely.
Thinking, because there's a ton of people who live paycheck to paycheck. And, you think, oh, God, I can make my rent this month if I just make $1,000 wager.
Yeah, it's like anything else. It's like the lottery.
Right.
Right. There's always been a complaint against the lottery saying, well, it's a tax on the poor.
Right.
Because more poor people bet the lottery.
Right. They're hoping to not be poor.
Right. So there's always going to be controversy like that.
Yeah.
And
It's just, if it's readily available, so readily available, you're going to get some casual people.
Yeah, sure,
Right.
sure.
And they're just betting with their heart and, losing their $100.
So we can speculate, but we'll see. Yeah. We'll definitely see.
I think you are right, though. California, it's going to take quite a while.
I think it'll be a little while. I'd say at least 5 years, and hopefully 5 years is it, and maybe it'll come around. Maybe when they see other states, and
Right.
the revenue starts coming
they were
in, maybe
pretty
it'll
quick
make
with
a difference.
marijuana.
Yeah, but that's true. That was on the ballot. Right. Maybe that's the kind of thing it'll get on the ballot somehow, and then
it'll
the
probably get on the
legislature has to
ballot.
work
Should
it
we
out.
go ahead and do this?
Yeah, that's true. Well, the Preakness was this last Saturday. You watched this one, didn't you? I think you were able to watch that.
Got home.
And Justify, I don't want to say he had no problem, but he clearly won the race.
Well, Yeah, he won, but
Yeah.
it was a little dicey at the end. I'll
Yes,
tell you,
it was.
if that had been a couple furlongs longer.
Well, and the Belmont Stakes coming up is a quarter mile longer.
right.
And so, yes, that's what you were thinking was, all right, Justify may not have what it takes to, Triple
Well,
Crown.
I had a patient who told me before the Preakness, he said, "Oh, that's the best horse I've ever seen. I know horses. That horse, I mean, the way he ran the Kentucky Derby, he's that horse that will win the Triple Crown." And I'm thinking to myself, well, I didn't think that from what I saw. Now, after this race, I don't think he's going to win the Triple Crown.
Okay, because you saw those horses kind of creeping up at the end.
They were coming on him fast.
Yeah.
And now, who knows? Maybe,
Who knows, right?
Maybe,
The jockey knows he's about to get there.
yeah,
So
maybe he was slowing down a little.
yeah.
I don't know, what the deal is, but it just seems like he may not have the power.
Well, close to race time, Justify was a 1-5 favorite. And I went on Twitter basically saying, look, it's one thing to, be pretty positive who's going to win a race. But just because you know who is going to win, it doesn't mean it's necessarily a good bet. And I think at 1-5, Justify was not a good bet. Most people on Twitter agreed with me. One person at least disagreed, said, oh, this was so obvious he was going to win. You got to take it anyway. But I think that's something that horse bettors really are aware of. It's not just, oh, wow, I picked a winner. It's making money.
Right.
And sometimes,
Without risking as much.
right, sometimes betting on the favorite, great, it paid $210.
Right.
I think at the end, Justify paid $280. But still, that's a small return for what you're risking.
Your 80 cents return is... And if you're putting a substantial amount of money, a guy betting $2,
Yeah, big deal, right?
big deal.
Yeah, sure.
A guy betting 200,000,
Right.
he wants to make a little more money.
That's right. Well, we bet on Good Magic, who ended up finishing fourth, and it was too bad because we're watching. Good Magic was right along Justify virtually the whole way.
Right.
And then
Faded at the end.
Yeah, right there. A couple of horses got ahead of him. I don't know if he faded so much. He was just passed right at the end. So
And one of the horses that passed him, the horse that finished third, what was his name?
I can't remember either, but your wife had bet
My
across
wife
the board
bet
on him.
across the board on that horse. I said, across the board? She said, yeah, it might win. I'm like, no, Justify will win. Bet it to second and third.
That's right. It was the biggest long shot there. Yeah.
25-1. Has she made 80 cents?
That's right, because it paid $6.80 to show.
Right.
And across the board, you got to pay $6, so not much of it.
Yeah, she won 80 cents.
That's
what she promptly donated to You Can Bet on That.
That's right. Since she used our app, she said, yeah, just leave it there in the TVG account. So thank you, Lynn, for that.
nice.
Very generous.
Maybe we'll turn that
We'd like to thank Lynn for the donation this week, 80 cents.
And in a couple of years, that 80 cents will be worth $1.40. Something like that.
That's right. A little crew. So anyway, Belmont Stakes, Saturday, June 9th. So tune in. Maybe there'll be another Triple Crown.
You know what I like about these races? They're not far in between.
I do too. I like it. This is the biggest gap. 3 weeks between
3 weeks is the biggest. The others
Belmont.
are 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it is nice to do it fast. Yeah.
Golfing. Mm-hmm. I hate that it's like the Masters. There's such a big gap between the U.S. Open. And, it's like you see some big tournament and a couple weeks later you want another one. It's like 2 months later.
Yeah.
It's like, I want them right away.
It is nice to have the horse races close like this.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. All right, something happened to us, or we witnessed something, I should say, at Harrah's Southern California a few weeks ago, and we have been struggling to figure out exactly what happened.
We're never going to know.
So baffling.
We're never
Why don't you
know.
start with the story? Because this guy showed up at the table. I think I was in the restroom when he first got there.
You were in the restroom. This guy walks up to the table, and he had with him 10 $1,000 chips.
At Harrah's, walks up to the craps table. He already had the chips on it.
He had the chips in his hand, 10 $1,000 chips. So he had 10,000 total.
Okay.
And he walks up to the table. It was a come out roll. His timing was perfect. And he puts it down and he says, I want change. I want 1,000 in black.
Okay.
And he wants the rest in $500 chips. So he wanted 18 $500 chips.
Okay.
And 10 $100 chips.
Okay, right.
The gal who was in the pit, they call her over and she sees his stack of $1,000 chips and she says, can I have your player card? And he said, no, I don't want to be rated. And she said, no, we need your player card. And his exact response was, you don't need it legally. That might be your policy here, but I'm not legally bound to give you a card.
And he's right.
He's right.
Yeah.
And he looked at her and he said, and it's your own chips. It's not cash.
Yes, right.
So, in case there was some fake bills or whatever.
Or he's trying to launder money or whatever. Yeah,
whatever.
Right.
So he made those 2 points very clear. Then she finally said, okay, let me call. And then she made a phone call. She talked for what seemed like maybe a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and then turned around and said to the dealer, okay, break it down for him.
Okay.
And so they gave him what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He started playing. He made $100 come bet.
Mm-hmm.
So he went up to 9, he put 400 odds. And then he made another come bet, and I think it went to like 5. So he put another 400, and then it was a 7 out.
Right. About that
so-
time is when I came back
Yeah,
to the
that's
table.
about when you came back. So he had lost 1,000 of his 10,000.
Yeah.
And he seemed nice. You know, he's
Yeah,
like,
he
me, he's
seemed
like,
nice
oh, we'll
enough.
get that back on the next roll.
But then
you know?
as soon as I got there, he said, "Oh, I need to use the restroom."
Yeah,
so he hadn't been there very long.
Right, because when he left the restroom, you looked at me, you hadn't seen what he had bet, and I said, well, he's lost $1,000 so far out of his 10,000. I started telling you the story, and we're just thinking, you know, just some guy, right?
Right.
Anyway, he went to the restroom.
And he was very concerned about leaving his chips behind.
He was very
He was like, "Is this okay?" Like he'd never done this before.
Like
He's
he had never
you know,
been in a casino.
Right. You know, is this okay to leave it? And certainly I can understand that. It's a lot of money.
Right.
But just the fact that, and he kept asking, you know, he'd start to step away and, "Are you sure that's okay?" And
Yeah.
they put a towel over his chips, but he was very concerned about it.
About leaving his chips that much.
Yeah.
And the funny thing too is he twice said something like, this isn't my game. I'm a blackjack player. This isn't my game.
Yeah, and at one point he said to me, "Yeah, I'm not a craps player. That's why I don't want to be rated."
Right.
And I'm thinking, what
is
is
that
that?
about?
That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean?
He had said that to the dealers too, because the dealer, Jimmy, the guy said something and Jimmy said, oh, we're not trying to give you a hassle. It's just, you know, we don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And the guy said, well, I'm not trying to be, you know, a jerk or anything.
Yeah, he was very nice.
Yeah, I just want my money.
He came back from the restroom, and then suddenly some other pit bosses and security started kind of milling around.
Right.
It's like, well, what's going on?
Well, then he
here?
went to the restroom again. Remember?
That's the thing. He came back, he played a little bit, and then I got to go to the
played
bathroom
like
again. It's
2
like,
minutes,
what's going
and
on?
then he said, I got to go to the bathroom again. and
Yeah,
he covered
yeah.
his chips up and left. That's when I turned to you and said, he went to the bathroom like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, what is going
What's
on?
going on? And one of the dealers had switched. It wasn't Jimmy now. It was another dealer. And I think it was Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew said something like, oh, he's probably hitting the candy.
That was sure, yeah, going in there,
You know,
maybe
the
doing
nose candy.
right. Uh-huh.
That's what Matthew said and kind of laughed.
Yeah.
Because the guy was a little skittish.
Yeah, maybe.
Too.
But,
and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that maybe explains
Yeah,
something.
maybe. Yeah.
He's, you know, doing something in the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
'Cause certainly not peeing. I mean, unless he's got the world's smallest bladder, Paul.
Yeah.
So anyway, he comes back from the bathroom, and at this point, there is like 2 or 3 security guards and one of the casino higher-ups. I'll call him that. And anyway, they start talking to him.
Yeah, and they basically said, "Here, come with us."
Well, the first thing they said is, can we see your ID?
Oh, did they ask him for
Oh,
that?
yeah. I mean, I'm standing right next to him,
Okay,
so I
all
heard
right.
everything. They said, can we see your ID? He said, I don't have any with me.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me about that,
And
right?
they said, well, where's your ID? And he said, it's in the car. And the security just looked at him and said, well, let's go out to your car, get your ID.
And
so
then he left. He put up no
he did
fight.
No fight, no fuss,
Yeah.
no muss. He picked up his chips, walked away, and left $100 chip in the rail.
Yeah, that's right. You had to. Hey,
And I'm like,
yeah.
hey. And he's not paying attention to me. He's still talking to security. Well, one of the other security guards heard me. He came and got the $100 chip and chased after him. So I assume they gave it to him.
I'm sure they did. Yeah.
But yeah, they were headed out. So at this point, we're like, what the hell?
What's
was
going
that?
on? Yeah,
I mean, that is.
We're
it's
thinking
the-
there's something fishy
It's
going
the
on.
weirdest thing. You know, they asked him to leave. I mean, who asked you to leave?
Yeah.
They didn't say anything like.
And he already had chips. That's the thing. He didn't
Right.
come in with. He already had chips.
Now, where did he get the chips?
That's what I'm wondering,
and,
right? What
and
did
when he
do
got the other chips, wasn't there some issue then?
right, he
You
had to
know,
get that
I
many
mean,
in chips.
Right. You got 10,000 in chips. So anyway, after he left,
We finally asked one of the pit bosses, "Hey, what was the deal there?"
Right.
Yeah.
She said that he.
That's right. She said he was an exclusion, that he is an advantage player. And so we're thinking, okay, advantage player. They don't want an advantage player here. But then we're thinking back on his actions that didn't seem like an advantage player.
No.
Now, if you're an advantage player and
Well, if you're an advantage player, you're not playing craps.
well, unless you're doing it for cover. You want to say, hey, yeah, I play all the games. And there's certainly no way to get an advantage at craps at Harrah's Southern California, even if you believe in dice influencing.
Yeah,
Or,
it's
you know, the
cards.
cards are shuffled. The combination of the dice and the cards, there's no way to beat that game.
No.
And he didn't give his card. He didn't want to be rated. So how is that cover?
Right.
Right? They don't even know who he is.
Right. That's not cover for anything. Her story was that he's a known advantage player.
Known advantage player, yes.
So, but she didn't say he was barred from the casino.
Mm-hmm.
She just said he was excluded.
Yeah.
So does that mean like you can come here and sit at the bar and go to the restaurant and do whatever you want? You just can't play?
You know, Mike, maybe there was an advantage player who played out there, playing some blackjack, counting cards, whatever, hole carding, won $10,000. They kicked him out before he could cash out, which they shouldn't be allowed to do. But again, this is a tribal casino, so what are you going to do?
Right.
And so then maybe he sent his friend back to try to, wash these chips, basically. He said, yeah, go to the craps table, cash in, play a little bit, and then you can go cash them out.
Yeah. He wasn't there very long, so he could have been doing that because, so he lost 1,000, then he gets 9,000 in smaller denominations, takes it up to the cage and gets 9,000 cash.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that was his plan.
Maybe
Maybe after the second bathroom, he was going to leave anyway. Yeah. I don't know.
Obviously they're not going to tell us the full story, and maybe even the pit who told us the story didn't know the whole thing. That's my guess, is that he was the friend of an advantage player who was trying to ultimately cash the chips.
How did they know that?
Well, maybe they saw 10 $1,000 chips go out the door the week before, the night before,
right.
And then here comes a guy with that many in there, and they've been waiting for it.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, if that were the case, then they're idiots. Because why not just give your buddy 1,000 today, 1,000 next?
I don't know. Maybe
have him go cash into the blackjack table, play 5 hands.
Maybe they're getting out of town. I don't know. But bringing in the own chips. I don't know. I don't pretend to be an advantage player.
Right. Well, he obviously, it seemed anyway, that he walked into the casino with $10,000 in chips. Yeah. Right. Because had he got him somewhere else, they would have already known about him. What would be the big deal?
Yes. Yeah.
So it was very weird.
It was strange. So we've been scratching our heads. So we may never know.
Maybe somebody out there has
if you're an AP out there and this is a typical move that APs do, let us know.
Yeah, or somebody who just has a friend who's done stuff, or something like that before. I don't know what his issue was.
All right, well, maybe we'll find out. All right, well, LA to Vegas, the TV show was canceled this last week. I don't think you watched any of them, Mike. It was I
watched about 15 minutes of one.
Okay.
Episode.
It was funny. It was kind of an absurdist comedy, kind of wacky. I'm not surprised it got canceled, just kind of the tone of it and when it was on. I would say the show was watchable. I'm not shedding a tear over it, going off the air, but I kind of wished it had hung around because it certainly had potential. I could have seen it getting better and better as the years went on. But
it's one of those shows, though, that had such a small niche, I think.
I think so, right? And how many stories can you tell where it's on the plane? I mean, they're not on the plane the whole time, obviously, but that's
the one I saw. They weren't on the plane at all.
Okay,
they were in the airport,
that's where a lot of it takes place.
Getting ready to get on the plane.
Right, things like that. So you can probably catch it streaming on one of those services if you really want to watch LA to Vegas. But
it's 6 episodes?
How many there were 15 episodes.
Really?
Yeah, there were 15 episodes.
There were 15?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a certain amount, I don't know how many, and the network said, we'll take a couple more, but ultimately canceled the show. So
I wonder how they feel about that. The guy who made it.
Oh, it happens all the time. I mean,
I guess they're used to it.
That's part of TV. Yeah.
It'd just be like, we put a lot of sweat and tears into this, and then it's,
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough business, Mike. All right. We've got some messages from listeners. Let's get to them. Some email messages, some Facebook messages. Let's start out with Jim. He says, "Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. I became a doctor of pharmacy in 2011 and did a little research on gambling proclivities amongst doctorate-level professionals. Pharmacists were among the highest percentage group to indulge in gambling, sometimes problem gambling, whatever that is. I was wondering if Dr. Mike had any thoughts on professionals being more apt to gamble, and if so, is there a connection between needing to be regimented and precise in their day jobs and then needing to balance that out with the chaos of unpredictability inherent in gambling?" What do you say, Dr. Mike?
Yes and yes.
Yes, that's it?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Now, I agree 100%. Yeah. And here's why. First of all, professionals are usually driven people. And I know in our case, we like the math of the situation.
Well, that's a huge thing for me. I've always been a math person, and that's what I'm fascinated by.
And most professionals are, right? They're educated. And in order to be a professional, you have to be driven and interested in something like math.
Okay.
Maybe not math in particular,
but
something like that. And so I think that lends itself to gambling. I mean, we both love the odds and trying to figure a way to come up with a better system.
Sure. And we, even come up with things along the way. Hey, we should be doing this instead of this.
I'm always telling you, like, I'm going to try this. And I know it's not right, but I just want to test it out anyway.
But every once in a while, we'll come up with something like, hey, I didn't even think of this. I wonder if the casino knows.
Right. And so, that's part of it.
Yeah.
And the other part is, you are so structured in your job, whether you're a pharmacist, a doctor, an attorney or something, you have to be very regimented and structured because important things are happening. Mm-hmm. It's not like, you're cleaning the windows at a car wash.
Right.
And if you miss a spot, the guy just yells at you.
Yeah, right.
If we screw up, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's high stress. And I think for me anyway, I like going to the casino because you can kind of let loose a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I know after a winning session, if we're out there and we have a winning session, the next week, you cannot wait to get back.
Yeah,
right. That's not necessarily after a losing session, but certainly after a winning one. It's like, I'd like to go back now.
Right. I want to be there tomorrow.
Yep. All right, good.
Yeah, so I think he's right on both cases. And congratulations for becoming a, pharmacist.
Yeah, that's not a bad job, is it?
I've been telling people for years.
Yeah, I've got a cousin.
Hey, if you have a kid and you want him to get into a great profession, pharmacy.
Yeah.
There are so many opportunities of like jobs.
Yeah.
Like you can work nights, days.
That's true. Yeah.
Seriously, their pharmacies are 24 hours. You can work nights, days. It's a perfect job for like somebody who wanted to have a family and still work. I mean, they can, pick and choose around their hours.
But can be high stress, like any,
it's very
medical
high
profession.
stress. Well, you can't screw up.
That's right. You can't screw up.
I mean, you really can't screw up.
Oh, no, I gave her the yellow pills. Yeah, exactly.
It's right. I mean, you got to get everything right because, it's not like, you ordered and you got 3 patties and a bun and nothing else on your hamburger.
I don't think that's ever happened. That's crazy. That's nuts.
That's insane.
All right. On a previous episode, Dr. Mike, you said you didn't like the name of Resorts World Catskills.
Correct.
So we got an email from Sean. He says, hey guys, it's Sean from New York, the unfortunate Jets fan. Had a great time in Connecticut with you guys, even if it was only on Friday morning. Yeah, we remember Sean. We saw him there. Yeah, on that Jets.
We talked about the crazy Catskills.
That's right. So he said, good to put a face to the voice. For your listeners, the Resorts World Catskills project used to be called Montrain. The casino was then renamed Resorts World Catskills. Montrain was at least unique. A mega Legoland amusement park is opening up about 30 to 45 minutes away in Goshen, so there could be a lot of traffic to that casino in a couple of years. Yeah, Montrain, I get that would have been better for you. Montrain Catskills?
Yeah. I would have liked that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, why is Legoland amusement park going to affect the casino traffic?
Well, I don't know. You drop the kids off at Legoland, then you go to the casino. Yeah, right? There you go.
Or you just leave them in the car in the parking lot, give them some Legos.
That's another good thing.
To play with?
That's another good thing. I think I saw a news report about something like that recently.
Yeah, just leave the window down a crack and give them some Legos.
Hey, you're in Legoland.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 6 hours.
I'll bring you some food from the buffet that I've stuffed in my pocket.
Hey, here are 3 rolls.
Yeah.
The butter's a little melty.
Here's some eggs.
All right. Speaking of casino names, we got a Facebook message from Bev. New to your podcast, and I love it. My dearie one has been listening for some time and shared you with me on our California/Nevada road trip. I often go to the Muckleshoot Casino in Auburn, Washington. I know you love the name. Even though I grew up there, I also mispronounced the name for most of my life. It's actually Muckleshoot. Right? Muckleshoot.
I like that even better.
I know. It just looks like Muckleshoot. If you ever make it up this way, the well drinks are on me and we can shoot dice in the non-smoking casino. Now, Bev, I went online and I found a TV commercial for Muckleshoot Casino, and they say Muckleshoot.
Yeah.
They don't say Muckleshoot.
Doesn't mean it's right.
No, it doesn't mean it's right. No, I'm not.
It's all politics.
That's right. I'm just saying it. Then maybe it's just so it's easy for people,
right?
Because that's what everybody says.
Because Muckleshoot.
But it should be Muckleshoot.
Muckleshoot.
Yeah. So
I like that better.
Yeah, that's definitely how we'll pronounce it there.
Yeah, I think this weekend at some point, we'll be maybe at Treasure Island and it'll be kind of crowded.
Yeah.
I'm going to just real loud yell Muckleshoot.
Okay. Get ready for that, everybody. I guess that'll be fun.
Yeah. There's just people turn around who don't know and be, what's this guy? What's that? What did he say?
I'll start clapping and then maybe people start clapping.
A lot of people are going to turn around and say, he said Muckleshoot. And I'm like, no, I did not say Muckleshoot.
And then you storm off.
Yeah, I storm off. Yeah. This casino's politics.
There you go. That's right. And we also got a Facebook message from Daniel. He said, I was curious if you could talk about what goes into forming a gaming compact with a state. I know you aren't lawyers, but I was just curious since there's talk of the Pamunkey Indians. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You must love that, Pamunkey Indians.
Pamunkey.
Yeah.
And it's not spelled like monkey.
No, it's not. No, of course not. There's talk of the Pamunkey Indians building a casino. However, there is no compact yet, and Virginia has been long resistant to casino-style gaming. All right, so let's talk about compacts.
Let's talk about first, why would Virginia be...
Oh, Virginia's made for lovers. That's why.
Oh, you can make love. You just can't gamble.
Exactly.
Aren't those the same? Aren't those synonyms?
Might be. I'll get back to you on that one. All right, let's talk about compacts. So whenever a tribe wants to offer Class 3 gaming, they have to request a compact with the state they're in. Let's talk about the classes of gaming. I say Class 3 gaming. Okay. Class 1 gaming is like traditional tribal games, like going back hundreds of years. I don't know.
Such as?
Well, I don't know. I was looking them up. They've got like these rock games, and it's more of a kind of just a play
ceremonial
thing. Kind of
games.
Ceremonial type games. It's type
right.
1 gambling. And there's probably more to that, but it's very minimal.
So we're not going to run into somebody with a type 1 gambling
Class
problem.
1. No, we're not going to see anybody with a Class 1 gambling problem.
Class 1 gambling.
You're right.
I've got a Class 1 problem.
That's right. Now, Class 2 gaming is things like bingo, poker, player-banked games. These things where they're not banking full-blown casino games.
Right.
But they're taking like a rake. But bingo is part of that, poker, that kind of thing.
What they used to have, bingo.
Pull tabs, they had those pull tabs, that kind of thing.
Tabs, yeah.
And then Class 3 gaming is full-blown casino games and slots, just like you'd find in Las Vegas. Okay. That's Class 3 gaming.
Yeah.
Okay. So if a tribe wants to offer Class 3 gaming, they have to request a compact with the state they're in. Now,
this is federal law?
Yeah, this is federal law. Yes, exactly. Now, tribes don't need a compact with the state for Class 1 and Class 2 gaming. They don't have to have a compact.
Class 2.
That's right.
Well, one, I understand. Two,
Sure.
you'd think you need some kind of contract if you're going to offer... pull tabs are like the lottery.
You don't have to have a compact, but that doesn't necessarily mean they can legally offer those. For example, Utah's state constitution basically prohibits all gambling. Okay. So the gambling has to be offered in the state in some form. So your example, like California, before they had a compact, California had a lottery.
Okay.
So
they could have pull tabs.
The tribes could have pull tabs, which were basically lotteries.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And they allowed churches to have bingo, so they could have bingo?
Yeah, I'm not sure how churches fit into it, but I think so, yes.
Yeah, right, because churches have those bingo things.
But just speaking about tribes don't need a compact for Class 1 and Class 2 gaming as long as that gaming is legal somewhere in the state, in some form in the state.
All right.
Okay, so the tribe needs to request a compact. The state then is required, by federal law, to negotiate with the tribe in good faith. And if all goes well, details are hammered out and a compact is reached. And details can be like what we have here in California. All table games have to be card-based.
Right.
That's part of the compact. That's why they're not able to offer real dice, craps, and roulette.
So in that case, it would be something that the state has negotiated with these casinos.
Yes, right.
So the casinos could go to the state and say, we want to renegotiate this craps thing, and we want to have real craps. So here, we don't need to put pressure on legislature to change that in California. We need to put pressure on the casinos.
We could, but would it be worth it to them? I don't know. It was worth it to the casinos in Oklahoma. They recently did it. So
I think it'd be worth it to them. I think they'd get more people playing roulette and craps.
All right. Maybe we need to really spearhead this. We've talked about kind of jokingly, but maybe we need to educate ourselves a little bit more.
Maybe we need to talk to the casino heads.
Yeah, maybe.
And say, hey, look, you guys need to put some pressure on the state here to renegotiate this.
Yeah. And then who knows? This might not even be true. Again, we're not lawyers. Right. And here's where the fact that we're not lawyers really makes it tough. There is still a lot of ambiguity about tribal state compacts, right? Do the states really have to negotiate in good faith? Can the federal government compel the states to negotiate? Right. How do they enforce that?
Right.
Do tribes really have sovereignty? And if so, what does that mean? You always hear, oh, yeah, they're a sovereign nation. Well, they really aren't. Not literally.
No, not literally, because when something happens, they call the sheriffs.
Right, that often
they do. San Diego County sheriffs.
And yet they do also have their own court system.
Own tribal police.
There's still so much ambiguity. and vagueness that things change, and there are constantly lawsuits and court decisions. So,
right, it's probably on a day-to-day basis. It's like it's like when you win a car and they force you to take some small cash.
Well, you don't want the
settlement.
car.
No.
It'll cost you too much money. So that's about all we can say since we're not legal experts. But in the case of the Pamunkey tribe in Virginia, they don't currently have a compact, but again, they don't need a compact to offer Class II gaming, as long as Class II gambling isn't specifically forbidden by the state. So Virginia currently prohibits gambling on games of chance. That's how they phrase it, games of chance, but they specifically allow bingo and betting on horses. Now, at least one court in the U.S. has ruled that poker is a game of skill as opposed to a game of chance. So, potentially, the casino that the Pamunkey tribe is hoping to open could offer bingo, poker, and horse betting, at least. Okay, so without a compact, they can go ahead and do that. If they want Class III gaming, then they need a compact.
So it sounds to me, and what I'm getting out of all of this is that the federal government and the state governments can kind of make up whatever they want to do as they go along and then impact everyone else.
Yes. Now,
that sounds like a lot of politics. That's knee-deep in politics,
that's right.
my friend.
Now, I know you're trying to be funny, but you're also serious at the same time.
Yeah, I am serious.
What you can kind of say is that the federal government is kind of backing up the tribes when they can. That's the idea. Those, it's the tribe against the state, and it's the tribe and the federal government against the state. Now, again, I'm making that way too simplistic, but you can kind of think of it that way.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Still sounds like a lot of politics.
A lot of politics.
It's getting deep. I'm up to my chin right now.
Yeah. So hopefully we can kind of answer your question. Maybe Tony and Jason over at Vice Lounge Online. Maybe they'll actually.
You probably need an attorney who's specifically in this area, deals with this area.
Their expertise, sure.
Yeah, their expertise.
But even if they are, again, it's so fluid and things can change.
Right.
That.
Yeah, you have to have their law clerk, constantly digging into new stuff.
Day to day. Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's get to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First call.
Hey, what's up, Mark and Dr. Mike? First-time caller. Just started listening a couple months ago, trying to catch up on everything. Love the show. It's great. I had a quick question. This is probably random, and you guys are totally wrong as much as you go gambling to tell me how to save my money. But I've got to go to Vegas for a week in June. I'll be there for 6 nights, which I think is far too long for Vegas.
Long,
but, oh well, work's paying for it. I'm stuck there. But my buddies aren't coming in town till the last 2 nights, so any suggestions for staying away from the tables until then, so that I have a little bit of bankroll left over? Probably kind of a weird question. Also, second thought, I just discovered on my podcast playback in iTunes that I can play back at 1.5 or 2 times speed. 2 times is a little too fast for me to understand, but 1.5 times is great. I can understand everything, and I'm catching up a lot faster than listening at the standard speed. So anybody else who's trying to catch up at 1.5 times speed, it's kind of convenient. You guys have a good weekend. Good luck, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Yeah, good. And there are some podcast apps that go as high as 3 times speed, which makes it impossible here. But then
I can't even understand 2 times.
There's some that offer 1.25 speed, so 1.25 times speed, and that's kind of nice because it's almost like they're not really talking that fast. It almost sounds normal. But I have to listen to all the podcasts that I listen to. I have to listen to all of them at 2 times speed just to get through them all. Yeah, I listen to so many of them.
And I can't do that. That's why I listen to fewer.
Yeah.
And I listen to them not as frequent as you because it drives me crazy.
Yeah. And your commute isn't quite as long as mine is. And it's funny because there have been a couple listeners who have come up to us, met us for the first time, and they say, "Oh yeah, I normally listen to you at 2 times speed, so it's kind of weird to hear you talk faster." So then I say, "Okay, I'll start talking faster then." Yeah, that's right.
As far as things to do in Vegas,
other than gamble, if you're on your own, you're by yourself.
You're by yourself.
All right.
There are actually quite a few things. And I'm trying to look this up right now because I just read it today on one of my news feeds.
Oh, okay.
And it was one of these blebs, 12 things to do in Las Vegas besides gamble.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, if I can't find it here, you can look it up. But it was all the parks around there. Like, there's Red Rock.
Right.
So you said, you can rent a car and you can go out to Red Rocks. And there were 12 places that were within 40 miles of Vegas.
Well, that's the thing. So the suggestion, I guess, in this thing that you saw was to get away from the Strip, get away from the casinos and go out to. See, that's one thing I was going to say is like Hoover Dam. I don't know if you've ever been to Hoover Dam. It's fascinating.
I have never been, and I am going in July.
Oh, that's right. You're going with the family. That's fascinating, right? But here's the thing. It's a lot more fun to go with other people. I mean, if you and I are stuck in Vegas by ourselves, we're probably just going to go to the tables. But,
right. Yeah. If you're by yourself, driving out to Red Rock and looking at, the rock formations is probably not as much fun.
Yeah.
There are some things that you can do that are in casinos that aren't gambling too.
Well, and there are other, there's
you go to Circus and
yeah, you could do that.
Seriously.
I'm thinking more of like the Pinball Hall of Fame, going to the Mob Museum,
right?
Things like that, where you really can't. We haven't been to the Mob Museum, but my understanding is you spend hours in there, and then it's really fascinating, right? So
yeah, that's one. And while you're downtown, just go down to Fremont Street and just stand, in one spot and count how many naked people you can see in an hour. And then, and then you can make a graph. Naked people I saw, the amount of times I threw up on either one.
And that's there. It's an XY graph.
It's
good.
an XY graph.
Good.
Yeah, see, I've actually done that.
Uh-huh.
So another thing you can do in Vegas is go to the Marshmallow Factory.
Oh, I think you talked about that. That's right.
Go to the Marshmallow Factory and get a tour of the Marshmallow Factory.
Yeah, okay,
That's really cool. And then, there are some sports things there in Vegas too.
Oh, sure. Go to Top Golf or, that's more of kind of a group thing. But yeah, you can do it. Sure.
Do that. And, and hey, if you're there and the Vegas Golden Knights happen to be playing, see them.
Well, they're in the Stanley Cup Finals now, so
you're not going to get a ticket.
Probably not going to get a ticket here. And there are the other suggestions. They've got that thing where you throw axes at things, right? The axe throwing,
the axe
right?
Throwing, yeah.
Or you can go somewhere.
I'd actually like to do that.
You could go somewhere and shoot off a machine gun. How often do you get to do that? Right, all those shooting ranges.
They have the racetrack there just
That's
outside
another thing
of Vegas,
too, right? The racetrack.
You can actually get in a car and drive around that baby. I'd love that.
Yeah. All right, so good luck. Yeah, 6 nights. That'd be way too much for us. We've never spent that long.
That's a long time.
Yeah, right. All right, let's hear from our buddy Robin.
Well, hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Robin from Anytime Gambling. I was playing Pai Gow at Foxwoods the other day, and I'd like to know your opinion of the dealer insurance for Pai Gow and the player insurance for Pai Gow. Most likely a side bets. I know they're probably not great bets, but I'd just like you to just go over that and explain it to us, and maybe is there any situation where it's good to actually bet on those? I didn't get to see you much at Gamblepalooza, but I think I'll see you a little bit more, at least at Podcasters After Dark at Zorkfest. Looking forward to it. As always, great stuff, and you guys rock. Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
good. We'll see you here this weekend, Robin. So the bet that he's talking about, they call it an insurance bet. It's basically an insurance against getting a bad hand in Pai Gow poker. And by bad hand, we mean ace high or worse.
No pair.
No pair, no straight, no flush. The best you can play in the 5-card hand is an ace high or worse. And these insurance bets, sometimes you can bet on your hand, sometimes on the dealer's hand, sometimes both. They're usually separate bets.
Right.
It's not one, but you can bet the dealer will get called a Pai Gow hand. That's another way to say a bad hand. It's Pai Gow. And typically these bets will pay more the worse the hand is. So for example, there might be one bet where you make the bet, if you get an ace high, maybe it'll pay 3-1. And if you get a 9 high, which is the worst hand you can get in Pai Gow poker, it pays 100-1.
We've only had a couple of nights. Well, in all the Pai Gow we played, maybe 5. 4 or 5.
Now, I'll tell you, me personally, I'm thinking 2.
Yeah.
Once at the casino and once at our home game.
Yeah.
It does not happen very
a lot.
often.
Yeah,
no.
so you would not make that 100 times is not enough.
No, it's not. But I remember when we played at Sequan years ago, you would just get $100 if you got a 9 high Pai Gow.
Right.
Remember, it wasn't even a side bet. They just give you $100.
$100.
Yeah. So when to bet it? Well, there's never a good or bad time to bet it, other than it's always a bad bet because of the high house edge, usually well over 5%. But every hand of Pai Gow is a new shuffle.
You could have had 3 Pai Gows in a row, and the next one could be a Pai Gow.
Yeah, it's
the
all
same,
reshuffled,
right.
so there's no memory to the cards in that respect. So, when do you bet it? You bet it if you're having fun and you want to bet it.
Yeah, well, let me put it this way. I don't bet that.
You bet it at Foxwoods.
I bet it at Foxwoods, but I normally, if I was playing I bet it because we were going to play Pai Gow for 10 minutes.
Okay, all right.
But if we're going to play Pai Gow for any period of time, I'm not making that
That's not the bet you want to make.
No.
Yeah. You'd rather make one of those bets that pays big if you hit a big hand.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's just not, it's not the bet for you.
Even though that would maybe even have a higher house edge, but I want to win $100,000.
Yeah, you don't want.
I don't want to bet $1 out there and
I
win
got 9
3.
high.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I get jack high and I get $3 and I lose my $100 bet. That's kind of insulting.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's hear from Ryan.
Good evening, Doctor and Doctor's friend. This is Ryan from Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Just leaving Canterbury Park in Shakopee, Minnesota. Just want to let you guys know about Face Up Pai Gow. I shared with you guys a while ago that they were bringing it to Canterbury's Park Club, and they have completely done away with the traditional Pai Gow game, and now are simply running Pai Gow Face Up. Played it for a little bit, much like a few other callers have mentioned. It's not terrible. It's not. We had a couple of opportunities where we did have a push, but there were also opportunities where if I would have played the correct way, the house way, I would have lost. And by being able to see what was the dealer's hand, I was able to make a push hand. So just wanted to share, nothing major, but I hope you guys are having a good time. Good luck in the Preakness. I'm not sure if you guys are going for most vowels this year, prettiest color, longest name, but good luck with that, gentlemen.
Yeah, I was the one who picked Good Magic. You should have been. I probably should have said, "Hey, Mike, who should we bet on in the Preakness?" And then, maybe you look for the yellow or the most vowels or whatever. Yeah, your thing before.
Well, I kind of figured that Justify was going to win.
Okay, but
so when you asked me, I'm like, well, I guess Justify
sure.
because I'm pretty sure he's going to win. What was that third place horse's name?
Tenfold. Tenfold, right.
Yeah,
he came in third. He was the big long shot, yeah.
Right, and that's why Lynn bet it. She liked the name Tenfold.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So 2, maybe 3 years ago, did you think that your podcast was going to become mostly about craps and Pai Gow?
I knew it was going to be about craps.
Right. I mean, I kind of saw that coming. We've got so much Pai Gow talk lately.
I'm going to find Face Up Pai. I'm excited for it now.
Yeah.
This weekend, I'm going to find some Face Up Pai Gow.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it
Don't
now.
you think downtown there's going to be some?
Well, I don't know about downtown, but remember it was New York, and I think you said Park MGM, and we're going to be down at South Strip at least for 360 Vegas Vacation 6, because that's going to be down the south part. So, yeah, I'm going to play some for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
All right,
Yes.
I'll play some with you.
Well, I know you will.
Yeah,
for that
you
5
know.
minutes. All right, I'm bored. All right.
Who knows? Maybe I'll hit something big.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know about the side bets. We haven't really talked about those.
Right.
So I know you can make a side bet against the ace high push hand.
Yeah, I don't
That's a
want
bet.
that.
You don't
I don't
want that. Okay, all right. You don't
I
want that.
I want to get like the royal flush,
All right.
natural royal flush
Okay.
that pays $100,000.
All right, I understand.
Like I'm really going to get that. I mean, I can't even get stinking royal flush on video poker.
yeah.
I played 1,000,000 hands of.
All right, last call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Ryan from Utah. I was just calling in to give you a quick trip report. I made my way out to West Wendover, Nevada last Friday, and I always hear you guys talk about these rolls where guys are rolling for 20 or 30 minutes or 40 minutes at a time, and in the 5 or 6 years I've been playing craps, I have never experienced that until this past Friday. So went down there, walked up to an empty craps table, and rolled by myself for about 10 minutes, and then another guy walked up and proceeded to roll for about 30 minutes straight. So I ended up walking away with about 8 times my initial buy-in, and we all had a blast. And the rest of the night was kind of pretty flat, just up and down, but I still managed to leave Wendover a winner. So it was a pretty fun trip. We've got lots of $5 tables there. I played at the Nugget the whole time. It's always a good time there. One thing I did notice was as I went to leave, I swung by the gas station to pick up some food on the way home and kind of scoffed at the fact that I'd have to pay $3 for a Diet Coke when I'm throwing money around at the craps table like it's nothing. But anyway, love the show. Look forward to hearing your next episode. Thanks, guys.
Yep, money has a whole different meaning in a casino, doesn't
It's so
it?
funny. We're laughing because Every week. I mean, every week, bar none. We leave a casino where we just played with thousands of dollars. We stop at Jack in the Box to get the value meal.
That's right. Make sure those are value fries, Mike. I don't want to pay the extra.
I want to pay $1 only. I don't want to pay $1.29. I want to pay $1 only for the value fries.
It's so true.
And meanwhile, while we're discussing that, my dad's in the back seats telling us how stupid we are when we could have got free food at the casino in the Diamond Lounge. Why are we paying $4 for our Jack in the Box?
Oh, it's so true. Well, especially when you're talking about chips. You're throwing chips around the table, and then meanwhile, and you're a good tipper. You tip the cocktail waitress. She brings you Mountain Dew. You give her $5.
She brings me a water. I give her $5.
If you saw Mountain Dew, a bottle for Mountain Dew for $5 in the gift shop, you'd go nuts.
Yeah, I'd be complaining like crazy. Yeah. They marked this stuff up like
it's a ripoff.
It's so true.
Yep.
It's so true. Yep. I hope we have some big rolls this weekend.
Yeah, I do too. We're going to see everybody this weekend at Zorkfest and 360 Vegas Vacation 6. We don't have much more to say about it now because if you're going, you're probably already there.
Right.
So,
because this is going to air tomorrow.
This is coming out on Thursday, right before everything starts. So
we'll be there Thursday evening.
Yeah, we'll be there Thursday night. Now, Podcasters After Dark, where we'll be doing our show, they're hoping to stream the event live. So it's going to be us and Vital Vegas and Travel Fanboy and the guys from Vegas Confessions. We don't have a link for you yet. Not sure exactly what that is. But if they end up streaming live, I will post the link to Twitter and Facebook. So you hopefully will be able to watch the event streaming live.
Good. So my wife can pay attention to her Facebook.
10 o'clock Pacific time on Saturday night. So hopefully everybody will be able to...
Starts at 10 o'clock.
Starts at 10 o'clock. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So...
Very good.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Brian for his recurring donation. Thanks very much. And Brian and Sarah for their recurring donation. Hopefully they're... I don't know if they're going to be... Hopefully we'll see them this weekend. Yeah. Also from Susan, she says a karma donation for upcoming Vegas trip. Good luck. A PayPal donation from Brandon. He says a karma donation for Memorial Weekend Vegas trip. Can't wait to meet you guys at the Luxor Craps game. Oh, very good. Looking forward to seeing you there, Brandon. He says, when you come into Seattle, lots of great casinos in the area. Names like Muckleshoot, Snoqualmie, Tulalip, Angel of the Winds, Tulalip, Emerald Queen, Swinomish, Suquamish, Clearwater. I think I got that one right. Just to name a few. Keep up the great work. Love the podcast.
Tulalip.
You like that?
Tulalip.
Do you like it? Or
I love it.
Okay, all right. I can't tell the way you're saying it.
I like saying it.
Also, our buddy Dr. Taylor, he says, I'm convinced that you and Dr. Mike haven't hit a royal on video poker because your royal flush luck goes to listeners who donate. So he sent a donation for Tara's first royal. See you at Vegas Vacation 6. Okay, we'll see if it works.
I hope she's playing a $2.
Yeah, exactly. You get 8,000
bucks.
Nice. And finally, from Christopher, a.k.a. Chaz Gator, he says, Dear Mark and Dr. Mike, this is a karma donation for an upcoming Las Vegas trip, May 20th to 25th. My wife and I primarily play video poker, so we're hoping for a steady stream of quads throughout the week. Wouldn't that be nice? Anytime you hit quad, hitting the royals, like, okay, it's hard to do. Man, you get those quads. If you get in a streak where just a few sessions, you get a few. It's so nice.
You just need one in this session.
It's true, especially if you're playing like, bonus or double bonus, something like that. That's great.
I'll take a steady stream of anything at this point.
All right, I think that's going to do it. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at Facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And we will be tweeting the entire weekend, letting you know where we are. And all of our tweets also go to Facebook. So if you don't have Twitter or you don't know how to use Twitter, just go to Facebook. Even if you don't have Twitter, though, we've said this before, you can always follow us on Twitter by just going to twitter.com/YouCanBetOnThat. You don't have to have a Twitter account. And finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Mike, I just heard you laugh. What's up?
I'm just laughing. I don't have Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah, you depend on me.
I know. My wife has all that stuff. I don't have. I depend on her when I'm with her, and you when I'm with you.
All right, but you do have a smartphone.
I do have a smartphone.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got that at least.
Hey, we should say thanks to all the listeners who came out and visited us this last week.
I know. And so often, I'll tell you, before we get to that, I want to apologize in the past for listeners that we haven't mentioned. I can't tell you how many times we finished recording the show and I'm editing and it's like, oh my gosh, we forgot to give a shout out to somebody that we met at the casino. Yeah. But this last weekend, the Canadian guys, Ryan and David, their parents came, Marie and Alan. They were a delight.
They were nice.
They were so nice.
I was telling Lynn when I got home, those Canadians, they are so
nice. That's right.
No wonder Canada's a wonderful country.
So they're having their 35th wedding anniversary. So congratulations to them. I know they're going up
they were winning too at the
California.
casino when we saw them, which was nice. Everyone was happy.
And then Judge Dave met us out there. That was really nice playing with him. And it was perfect because as soon as you left the table, Dr. Mike, Dave and I were there, had this huge run. What a wonderful night.
Yeah, Dave, that was for you. Because I know as soon as I leave, something good's going to happen.
Bad, Mike. I felt so bad.
We were getting hammered. We were all three getting hammered.
Yeah.
I left, and I went, and I can't remember what I did.
You had some free play you were going to do. You had to get your food,
my free play.
took it up
I got
to the
my
car.
Food, took it to the car. I was basically just taking a break. I come back. They're in the middle of a huge hand, and the hand before that you rolled, and that was a huge hand.
I counted it. I rolled like 45 times on my roll.
45 rolls.
Yeah.
And then Dave was rolling,
Dave followed it with another big one.
With another huge one. So they got all their money back. They ended up winning for the night. I go home a big loser. And I refused to get into Dave's hand.
That's right. You wouldn't come in.
The middle.
Yeah, you did because you would have killed it. We know you would have killed it.
And Tim is like, "Oh, I can make room for you. You want to get in? You want to get in?" I'm like, "No, I'll just kill it." I just went and sulked at a machine. That was all for Dave because I wanted him to win. I just went and sat at a machine. It was so funny. I played for maybe like the third time in my life Keno on a machine, and I killed it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I won.
Good.
I turned like $100 into like $3.
Oh, good. Oh, good. 300. Okay, 300.
Not $3.
Well, it's funny because to add insult to injury, it was a mystery multiplier night, right? Where you get a multiplier on your reward credits. So you slid. It was like up to 50. That was the max. 5 guaranteed and up to 50.
Yeah, which nobody
ever gets 50. So you slide your card, you get 10 times. I slide my card, I get 20 times.
Yeah. Let me tell you, let me just shout out to Harrah's Southern California. Thursday night, I can show up at the door and get 12 times.
15. It's new. I looked online. It's 15 times. Yeah, just for showing up.
Just for showing up. Saturday, we're going to have this big multiplier, blah, blah. 10 times.
Then I was talking to Ray, the pit boss, said, I got 20 times. Really? I've never heard of anybody getting that high before.
That is such politics. Oh my God. I was like, I still got a ton of reward.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Credits.
It kicked in today.
Yeah,
So
I got a ton of reward.
It was nice.
I mean, I'm not complaining or anything. I got like $4,000 now of reward credits.
Yeah. All right. We'll see everybody this week. And anything else, Mike?
No, I hope it all goes well for everybody concerned.
I do too. Thanks for listening.
Keep the politics to a limit.
Thanks for listening.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.